Good evening, this is Bel Geode, and we are back with another stop in the Purple Hat Tours. And tonight, we are at Tango Foxtrot Foxtrot Juliet TFFJ, otherwise known as St. Barthelemy, or St. Barths for short. Tonight, we're going to be showing off the phenomenal scenery that was created by Nimbus Simulations. And I gotta say, this review has been a long time coming. As I'm sure you know, this island in real life was ravaged by Hurricane Irma a couple months back. So this episode goes out to all the people affected by that devastating hurricane that rocked this island and St. Martin. Alright, let's hop in and get started. Okay, and now that we're in, we can go ahead and close the door, and that will reduce the outside noise. That's XP Realistic Pro, by the way, that I'm using. We'll reduce the noise even further by putting the headset on. We do need to get our tie downs and caps off, because that'll be the first thing that Miss Betty is going to be asking me when we do the checklist. So we're going to go on to the Customize list, External Menu, and it's all the way near the bottom, tie downs and caps. Okay, let's see if that did it. That did it. Okay, and I'm also going to turn on the GPU. I forgot about that. It makes a lot of noise. Oh, come on! Okay, there we go. That should fix it.
Tie downs and caps.
Hello, Betty. Tie downs and caps removed.
Seat belts.
Secured.
Secure. Altimeter.
Alright, we'll check the altimeter here in a second. It should be at 29.92. I think I already set it ahead of time. Yeah, there we go. 29.92. Set.
Set to field elevation. Instruments.
Those are static.
Static. Fire extinguisher.
Looks like I got one.
Rotor brake.
That should be up and locked. Yeah, it is.
Up and latched. Circuit breakers.
Circuit breakers are all in.
Overhead switches.
All off.
Off.
Well, except for the
Landing
hydraulic
lights.
switch.
Off.
We'll go ahead and turn that off.
Off. Battery switch.
Okay, now we start turning things back on. So, battery switch is in the corner.
Hydraulic switch.
Hydraulic switch is in the opposite corner. I just turned it off. Now it's on.
On. Anti-collision lights.
Should be next to the hydraulic switch, right up here. There it is.
Pedal stop. Okay,
pedal stop is on the far right. It's got the little cover over it, so we'll pull up the cover. Oh. Come on, Face Track No IR. Work with me here. There we go. And let's see if we can get the cover. Seriously? Okay, got it.
Press. Pedal centered.
We'll just do our pedal check. Yep. Okay, that is centered.
Check. Caution and warning lights.
We'll check those real quick.
Test.
Yep.
Instrument check button.
Yep. I gotta manually click that.
LCD test button.
Yep.
Test.
Seriously?
Left and right fuel boost and transfer switches.
At least she's not saying boost XFer anymore, so thank you so much to RedTailPilot for that.
On. FADEC horn test.
FADEC horn test should be at the bottom here, provided I can touch it. Come on. There we go. Okay, that works.
Press. FADEC mode switch.
That's at the bottom here. Okay, that works.
Auto. Fuel valve.
Fuel valve is easy.
On.
There we go.
Fuel
Cover it
pressure.
down. Now, I don't know if this is a bug, but the fuel pressure is showing 0. But I'm going to click it anyway.
Fuel quantity.
Alright, fuel quantity. We've got fuel. We're good.
Check.
Next page.
Collective.
Collective should be full down. Hold on, let me pull it up a little here. Okay, yeah, we're good.
Full down. Cyclic trim.
That should be centered.
Rotor area.
Okay, this is the part where I get to yell at everybody. Get out of my way! I'm going to start up this helo. We're clear.
Voltage.
This is why I put the
Minimum
GPU
24.
there.
Throttle full up.
Throttle.
Check.
Mm-hmm.
Throttle down.
Yep. Throttle back down.
Throttle. Starter.
Okay, let's start her up.
Engage.
Okay.
Monitor measured gas temp. Prevent hot start.
I'm working on it, Betty. Thank you. So yeah, the reason why I keep the GPU going, there's another bug with this helicopter where if you don't have the GPU turned on, it won't have the right voltage. I don't know why that is.
25% NG.
Okay, we're good on the rotor. GPU, we can now get rid of you, so back here to customize, and voila.
Generator.
Generator is up top side. We're gonna reset it and then activate it.
On.
There we go. Next page.
Control frictions.
Those are off.
Off. Hydraulic switch.
Turn it off.
Hydraulic switch. On.
Okay, that's basically testing it.
Switch.
FADEX switch, we'll test it again. Manual, back to auto. Okay, good deal.
Check, then auto. Flight controls.
Free and correct.
Free and correct. Throttle.
Get that up and running.
Full. Fly. NP and NR near 100%.
Okay, so we've got to watch our RPMs going up, and they need to be in the green. That's the big dial there. You'll see the needles at the bottom, working their way to the 9 o'clock where they will stay. The cyclic trim light is still on because of the winds that's blowing here.
Flight instrumentation.
Okay, that's these 3 switches here. 1, 2, 3.
All on. Particle separator.
Don't need it.
As required. Position lights.
Right above anti-collision.
As required. Instrument lights.
That's a little knob here. I always turn that on.
As required. Avionics switch.
It's above the battery.
On. COM 1. Inset. COM 2.
Oh, GPS. We need to turn it on.
ADF.
ADF is already set, but for some reason she won't call it out, so I'm going to go ahead and set our transponder real quick. I think I have that on standby. Hold on. Okay, there we go.
On inset. NAV 1. On inset. NAV 2. On inset. Transponder. Set to standby. AAYTISS.
It's trying to say ATIS.
Checked.
I don't need the ATIS today.
Anti-ice. As required. Pitot heat.
That's off.
As required. Cyclic centering light.
As I explained earlier, it's gonna be turning itself on and off because of the fact that we've got some winds blowing over that hill there. Alright, caged.
Transponder.
Transponder, time to turn you on. Set you to out.
Landing lights.
That should be on my collective. We'll flip it up.
As required. Instrument lights.
Those are on.
As required. Air conditioning and cabin heat.
Don't need it.
As required. Caution and warning panel.
Check the lights again. Sometimes it helps.
Off or considered. Doors and windows.
Well, let's see. Do we have our doors and windows locked? Are you all strapped in and ready to check out St. Barth's?
Pre-takeoff checks complete.
Done.
Bel Geode. Remember, aviate, navigate, communicate.
Why, thank you so much, Betty. Alrighty, folks, let's take a jaunt around the island and see everything that Nimbus has given us to play with here. Alrighty, folks, I hope you're ready for the tour. As we take off here from Gustav III Airport, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the airport as well as the main town. It should be noted that both the main town, which is called Gustavia, and the airport, Gustav III, are named after King Gustav III of Sweden. Now, back in 1784, Sweden bought this island from France, and then they eventually sold it back to France in 1878. Even though the airport is named for the same king that the town is named for, the airport itself is actually in the village of Saint-Jean. That should be noted there. Alright, so let's take a quick look at this airport. It's probably one of the most popular airports in the Caribbean, given the nature of the approach and everything. It's also ranked the third most dangerous approach in the world as far as airports go. Don't ask me who number 2 and number 1 are, although I'm sure you can figure them out. As you may have noticed outside, what makes this airport dangerous is the approach into this runway right here, runway 10. You've got to literally come over the hill below treetop level, pretty much at people level, in order to make it in. Now, we're in a helicopter. We're in the Dreamfoil Bell 407, so we've got it considerably easier than most visitors to this island. But, with that having been said, let's go ahead and take a quick tour. Oh, you'll notice that the little markers out in the water there, basically to keep swimmers out of the way in case people need to overrun the runway. It's for safety's sake. People don't pay attention to this any more than they pay attention to the sign in St. Martin that says, "Don't stand at the end of the runway because of jet blast." Go figure. Alright, so this little town here, as well as all the towns here, are all named in French. So this particular town that we're passing right now is Anse. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. My French is high school level French, so it's probably bad. But I'll try to point out all the various little villages and whatnot along the island as we make our way around them. I should also point out that those islands that are directly ahead and the one off to the right are actually that desolate. From my understanding, there's not too many people living there, if any at all. But, true to their nature, Nimbus did actually make it look like a desolate island, as you would expect from them. They do good work. Okay, so the next little town that we're coming up to here is called Anse de Flamands. So since you're probably going to be hearing the word Anse a lot, I figure I might as well give you an education and tell you what it means. Anse, in French, means handle, or it can sometimes be used to describe a small bay of water. For example, this bay that we're flying over right now is Anse de Colombier, so I guess that would be the Colombier Bay. I don't know. I'm just guessing here. I do know this. With all the yachts back there and this fancy-looking house, it sounds to me like somebody rich is having a party and all their friends just parked their boats over there. So that sounds like the place to be on this island. Although, knowing me, I would much rather hang out at the airport, but that's just me. What we're going to be doing now is we're going to take a look at the main town of Gustavia, and I've got just the thing to help us check out the harbor area. Alright, so as we make our way into the harbor, we're going to be passing the little towns of Corosol, which is directly ahead, and Publique, which is a little bit more to the right before we actually get to Gustavia. And this bay, the Anse du Public, is the area that you're going to be approaching if you are in a GA aircraft and you're trying to come in at the airport. So you're going to be overflying a lot of these boats. I really love the fact that Nimbus put the boat shadows in the water there. That is really freaking cool. I don't know how much time it took them to get that, but wow, that looks sweet. Alright, let's go ahead and inflate our floats, and I'm going to show you how we're going to land in the bay. There we go. That's something that I don't use often enough. Whoops, sorry about that, folks. I forgot that we're dealing with a good bit of wind here today, so yeah, lost my tail rotor for a second. Okay, if you look on the screen where the arrow is pointing, that is Fort Gustav, which is the gateway to the town of Gustavia. I'm thinking right here should be pretty good to set her down. There we go. Alright, and we are down in the harbor. Looks like we got a seawall right behind us. Something tells me we're a little too close to it. So I'm going to push us forward here so that we're more centralized in the harbor there and don't have to worry about hitting our tail rotor. Alright, so I think we've had enough fun here in Gustavia, so let's check out the rest of the island. On our way around, I'll tell you a little bit about this area. Alright, so one of the most important things to remember about this neck of the woods, in fact all of the Caribbean, is of course that it was quote-unquote discovered by Christopher Columbus. Now, he named this island after his brother Barthelemy. So that's pretty much how the island got its name, and it has stuck ever since then. One of the things that the early settlers used to farm was cocoa, or cacao. Cocoa, of course, is useful for chocolate and other things. But it really took until when the Swedes took over in 1784 for the prosperity of this island to really take root. And even though the Swedes did end up selling it back to the French, everything that they had done during the period of time where they owned this island really contributed to this island being what it is today, basically. The only thing that is a little bit different now than it would have been if the Swedes were in charge, all these locations that we've been flying over so far are all named in French. For example, this area that we're flying over right now, which represents one of the highest points of the island. This is Mont-Lurine, and of course the town of Lurine, which we just flew over. We're going to be heading to an area called La Grande Saline, which is kind of like farmlands, but from my understanding, what I've read about it, there's also like an aquifer there, like an aqua farm. And let me go ahead and deflate these floats real quick here. Okay, so we're gonna check out the farm areas. Welcome folks to La Grande Saline, and as you can see we've got some aqua farms right there, so there's a little bit of fishery action going on. And what the heck is that? Wait, is that what I think that is? Are you kidding me? Nimbus put cows on the island? No, wait, we've got to get a closer look at this. Holy crap! Are you for real, Nimbus Simulations? There's freaking cows on the island. Okay, we need a closer look at this. This is nuts! Okay, I know you're seeing what I'm seeing here. What really amazes me is there's not too many developers that will actually create a scenery that incorporates what we're both seeing right here. Nimbus Simulations, my hat goes off to you. Loving the cows, man. Loving the cows. That is so cool. I've never run across a scenery that had cows in it. So yeah, you get extra bonus points with me for that one, Nimbus. That was cool. Alright, but continuing our tour, we're going to head over some of the highest portions of St. Barthelemy Island. So we've got a couple of big mountains here, well, relatively speaking as far as this island goes, and a few more small towns that I'm going to call out to you. The first one is Morne du Grand Fond, which is, I guess, the second largest peak. And you can see the largest peak directly in front of us there, covered by trees. So we're going to kind of cut in between there. But that would be Morne de Vité. And as you can see, they nestled all kinds of little towns in here and there. The one to the right is Grand Fond, or Grand Fond. I gotta watch my pronunciation here. Like I said, my French is high school French, so don't expect it to be perfect. And then we have Marigot up ahead. And there should be a cul-de-sac around here somewhere. As we make our way back to the infamous airport, I just wanted to tell you a little bit more about the island, provided, of course, Face Track No IR will behave itself. There you can see the airport right there in Saint-Jean. Okay, so back in 1878, Sweden gave the island back to France, and they weren't considered French citizens until the 19th of March in 1946. Then they became French citizens with full rights. But it took until 2007 before St. Barthelemy would actually gain more independence. Up until that time, it was considered a part of Guadeloupe, which is another French colony. But in 2007, they actually became their own overseas collective. Before we land, I want to take one more look at this world-famous approach. You're seeing this, right? All the little tourists just kind of hanging out up here. Even that one guy over there with a selfie stick. You see that? This is not just stuff that, you know, Nimbus is just throwing around willy-nilly. This is exactly what happens on this island. In spite of the fact that there's signs everywhere saying, do not loiter in this area, low-flying aircraft, all of that. People don't care. Like I said earlier, it's just like back on St. Martin at the end of the runway on Maho Beach, where everybody always holds onto that fence and gets blown away by jet blast. People do this. They know full well that aircraft are going to be coming so low that you could literally reach up and touch one, and they still do this. And I think this is like the crowning achievement for Nimbus with this simulation, is just to put those guys right there on that road. That's just awesome. Alright, but that will just about do it for me and this leg of our tour. So let's see if we can make it down the easy way, since we don't have to use a GA aircraft, and we'll park back on the helipad. Now, don't get me wrong, that's still a little bit challenging. So as soon as we're in ground effect, which according to that wind sound that you're hearing right now, we are, I can slow us down just a touch more, and then we can swing out to the right here and land on this helipad, and that should be good to go. Overall, I would say that Nimbus did an absolutely outstanding job on the scenery, but then Nimbus Simulations is known for their really good sceneries. You've seen some of the sceneries that they've done before. I've shown them off on previous X-Plane episodes. And when I get back to doing the regular X-Plane episodes, I'll probably take a GA aircraft, most likely either the Cessna Skymaster or the Bonanza, and I'll try to come in on that infamous approach that we just flew over there. Okay, but this, for today, is our parking spot. There we go. Alrighty, folks, so I sincerely hope that you enjoyed that little tour around St. Barthelemy. And let me go ahead and turn off our low RPM warning. There we go. Okay, only thing left to do now is power everything down, turn everything off, and say my goodbyes. Okay, folks, so thank you again for joining me. Let me go ahead and turn everything off. There we go. All right. Okay, so while I'm doing my shutdown procedures here, I want to thank you all for joining me and for watching, of course, as always. We'll be back with some more Purple Hat tours at some point in time in the future, as soon as I get some more sceneries to review. You may have noticed a recurring theme so far. What I'm doing is I'm alternating, so I'm going between X-Plane and FSX. As new sceneries become available in either simulator, you will see reviews of said sceneries as part of the Purple Hat tours. So we may actually switch back to the original X-Plane series that I was doing for the next couple of episodes here, at least until I have some more stuff to review. But be that as it may, if you've enjoyed what you've seen, please feel free to give me a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. This has been BelGeode. I have been flying in X-Plane 11. Our chariot has been the Dream Foil Creations Bel 407, and we're in X-Plane 11.05 with it. The scenery that we've been looking at has been Nimbus Simulations TFFJ. I want to take the time to remind you that Helisimmer.com is where I got the idea for this series, and you can always see the written version of this review on that site, so be sure to check out www.helisimmer.com for all your helicopter news. And huge shout out and thanks to Nimbus Simulations for the review copy of this scenery. Alright, I think I got everything locked up, so we're just going to go ahead and close the door, and should probably get the battery off while we're at it here. I did remember to turn that off, right? No, it doesn't look like I did. Okay, well, we'll turn it off now. Alrighty, folks, that will be it for me. This is BelGeode. I am signing out, and I will catch you on the next one. Ciao!